Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris.
So you got into so after that then, so coming after your career, fast forward a bit then, what was your role in England basketball? Because I believe you worked there for a bit, right?
Yeah, I was there 5 years. So at that time I was coaching at University of East London, and the guy there was like, yo, there's this role that's just come out, like I think you'll be really good for it. So I applied for it, got the job. That was my first job I ever had in my life. You know, like I had no experience, no nothing, but what they knew.
But obviously, yeah, your credentials of playing basketball would help that. Definitely.
Yeah, and what they knew is that I got on with like everyone within the basketball circuit. And at that time, the CEO, he was more on like trying to get everyone in London to work together. And so he wanted me to kind of lead that kind of vision or whatever. So I'm not going to lie, it was one of the best roles. Like, well, it was my only job, but I was like, am I really working? Like, because the job was from home. I worked from home. I just had to be in Sheffield once a month. And I got given 2 projects that were like, just what I feel passionate about, and that's getting kids into basketball. So one of them was the Satellite Club project, which I would fund the clubs. So like Laken, like his club, and like people that I knew, I could fund their club to...
Okay, so that's how it works. Okay.
Yeah, so I would put, I'll fund them to put sessions on, but I would provide them with schools to do the sessions, so they wouldn't have to pay for court hire.
Okay.
And the sessions were just very basic, like just that, giving kids that first positive experience of basketball, you know, that can take them on. And what the clubs can do is they're at the school and they can pick the best players to join their program. So I had that one, and then the biggest one was the junior NBA. So like, 2 weeks into my role, my manager was like, we're going to meet the NBA. So I went to the NBA offices and sat down.
So you flew over to the States, yeah?
No, they got an office in London.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
so
okay.
I met the head guy over there, and we just sat down and just drew up this junior NBA league. Now, they had never tried it before, and they wanted to pilot it in London, the first place in the world. You know what I mean? So I was like, wow, like, this is big. So we piloted it. It was like my project at the beginning. And now it's in 52 different countries. You know, we've got 16 different leagues in England. And
I didn't even know that.
I think me working for Basketball England, it showed me the other side, right? I think a lot of people kind of, they look at Basketball England so negatively without understanding certain things, yeah? And they got every reason to, because back in the day, Basketball England wasn't, you know, looked at favourably, but there's got to be a time where we change that. And that's what we were trying to do in Basketball England. And one of the main problems is it's understaffed, you know, like, so people will moan. I've seen some serious, like, disrespectful conversations from people at basketball clubs towards the staff at Basketball England. And that was like eye-opening. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, the way some people talk to the staff there, it's not on, you know what I mean?
Or in the office, or just like in general? In
the office. And these people in the office, I'm not even lying, they work really, really hard, because we're at that time we were a bit understaffed, you know.
Yeah.
So I kind of looked at it from both sides of the coin. Like there was even questions that I thought, like, why don't they do this? But when I got in there, I kind of understood why they don't do it. So one example, right? What do we all say about the age kids should start basketball?
Pardon?
What do we say, like the age that kids should start basketball?
I don't think I've ever said there's a particular age they should start. From what I've seen, though, a lot of kids who do start playing basketball in the country, they've always been 10 and above. Always.
Yeah.
Not always, but sometimes they start. Like a lot of people like yourself, they'll be like, I played football first, then basketball. At older age.
Yeah.
And like, I believe kids can, like, because coming from Brixton, you could play at any age. You used to get babies in there. And babies will start playing.
Yeah.
So for me...
And that's what it is. So I've always thought of that. Sorry, I'm just putting my charger in. I've always thought that if you look at other countries, right, kids start at 5. Yeah?
Yeah.
Why don't Basketball England do it? When I joined, I realised why Basketball England don't do it, because we don't get funded to do it. They never got funded to do it. If you look at my satellite club programme, it was for 14 plus. So we get the funding from Sport England, yeah? So we can't then spend that money on stuff for kids under 14. Do you see what I'm saying? So then it becomes a thing where clubs have to kind of enforce that. And there are a lot of clubs that do it, you know what I mean? But it's kind of out of Basketball England's hands because they haven't got the funding to do it. So that's where the new guys have come in, and we had a whole restructure. They kind of like focused on like the media side, and and also focused on like how can we do something for kids but like self-fund it sort of thing, like thinking of ways to do that, which is where I think they're going in the right direction. But yeah, with that restructure, I got another role, and that was as delivery manager for all the National League programs. Yeah, so you're talking anything from Division 1 men to under 14s to EABL to ABL to junior NBA. Only 2 people were managing the whole thing, right?
Okay, yeah.
I'll give you an example, right? So I used to have a 2-week window to do the fixtures for every league in this country.
You did the fixtures?
For every league in the country. And it's not as easy as like just like simulating it and just...
No, it's not. You've got...
Every club has stipulations of when they can play at home, when they can play away. Do you know what I mean? Because they got leisure centres and...
Like Brixton had that thing where they only played their home games at Sundays. And Saturdays they had away games. So you had to look at that structure of when you could... I
had to sit down in every league in the whole country and formulate the fixtures. Like, that's
why they get a certain time to register their players, or the teams to register the teams in that.
Yeah. I kind of appreciate the effort that the people in the office give, but I can understand why people that haven't seen that side of things don't understand, you know. But
that's probably people like myself coming in it, because obviously, because I don't understand it, what's going on in the office. We're gonna think something, like I still have my views on how they could improve basketball, but you know what I mean. I don't understand what's going on in the office, but I do feel they really should have someone like yourself more in creative and control of stuff.
Okay, yeah. And I saw a conversation that you had the other day, and it was about like something I fully believe in. Yeah, there has to be a mixture of ballers, ex-ballers, and I'm not talking about just giving...
Orlan. It was Orlan.
Orlan, that's it.
It was me and Orlan.
There has to be a mixture, right? Because, and I'm not just saying just because you play ball, you get a job. You got to do your own, like, to be prepared for a job like that. But there has to be more of a mixture. When I was at Basketball England, it's only myself, Georgia Jones, and Steve Bucknell that have ever played basketball before. Now, that's not me saying, like, business people shouldn't be in it, because they should. Because that's where we struggled before.
I think, I like you're saying, it's a good idea. They should have a mixture, because you got some people who are business savvy. But at the same time, people who are business savvy should also get some advice from people who played the game. And that's where you can mix things together and have ideas. So someone with a business talent, but you can't have
exactly what
three people who play basketball in working for Basketball England. Doesn't work, man. It's like it doesn't work, man. Like if you look at, I always go refer to the NBA every time. You look at the NBA, sometimes you get ex-players who played basketball as assistant coaches or development coaches, and you also got people who are business minded running the team as well. So it's a mixture. I think like Nick Van Exel still got a job. Nick Van Exel still got a job. That's why you got the guys on NBA TNT, the analysis, Charles Barkley, Shaq, and Kenny Smith, and then you got Ernie there who's not played basketball, but he knows how to manage that kind of personality there.
Manage the thing, and that's what's got to happen, because what happened before, it was just basketballers, and then it got turned into now it's like just business people. My opinion is that it should be both, because the business people can be steered in the right way by the people in basketball. Yeah. But people in basketball, some of us don't have the knowledge of how to run a business. Do you know what I mean? So why not all work together to just make it like I'll give you an example, right? When I joined as a delivery manager for the National League, one of the things I wanted to do is improve the finals events. Yeah? Because as a player, when I played in a final, I didn't feel like it was a final event, you know? So, and this is how simple this thing is. You look at Midnight Madness, right? Why did everyone fall in love with Midnight Madness at the beginning?
Bro, because building up from the Midnight Madness, from when it started in summer, the build up to it was good. But the finals were so great because one thing my uncle taught me, he said, presentation is key. How Midnight Madness, how they presented that finals, they presented it like it was an event. Bro, just everything.
Do you know how simple it is? Do you know how simple it is? Let me just say, it's a simple.
Do you know what they did with
making the court black?
Yeah. Just change the colour of the court.
Wanted to play on the court because the court was black.
Everyone loved that. Everyone was like, what? Look at that. Oh my God. And on top of it as well, and on top of it, what I think they don't do in this country, they don't make players feel like, you got to treat them like stars. You have to treat them like stars. Like when you look at Midnight Madness, the way they introduced each player, and it was like, whoa, yeah, it's coming up, Tanadu. Then everyone's screaming, Marcus Knight, screaming, and it's like you're giving them that. All right, these are someone out here, man. Like, and that's what Midnight Madness did. Yeah. It was so amazing.
And that's what I tried to do. And you had a conversation with who is it? Hooper's Voice, isn't it, Mo? And you were talking about like just the fact of like the players themselves, like raising the profile of players, because when you talk about a culture of fans, right? So you got fans in Europe, yeah. I told you the other day, they're just like football fans, yeah. But we're so different to Europe. We're more like America, and in the NBA, fans ain't like cult like fans. It's all about show and, you know, like going there looking good. So for me, it's got to start. The only way you can get cult fans is if you start by expressing everyone's personalities, the players' personalities, like what you're doing now, yeah? Because look at all reality TV programs. Why do people watch reality TV programs? Because
you want to get to know the person, you know what I mean?
You want to know the person.
No, I mean,
And then
it's
from
like
there-
little things like, what is it? Even though I'm not into reality programs, but some of them, if it depends on the subject, like Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
It's okay, but I watch it because I'm like, right. Because Stevie J, he was like a producer in the 90s. You just know him as a producer. But when you find out what he's like as a person, you're like, right, this brother's a madman, you know, like, or he's
That's
funny,
what
you
it
know.
is.
And even when I
that's
said,
where we have to start, because the only way we'll get cult kind of followings from fans is if they fall in love with the players first, and then they will start loving the club.
that's where the angle.
it's got to start.
And I think as well, like with this show I'm doing, it's more like, gotta bring some of the legends back, man. Also, like
Yeah.
bring some of yourself back. Like I had one with Marcus. I want to get some other players, like former players, interact with them, get them the side. Like I was saying
NBA do
yesterday.
the same. The NBA have all the ambassadors like Mutombo, John Amici,
Yeah.
all the old. I met Isaiah Thomas. I met because when I worked with the NBA, I was meeting all of these legends because their experiences are important too. You know, it can help shape the next generation as well.
It does, man. Like it's good seeing. That's why I watch the NBA TNT analysis show, not because of what they talk about mainly. I like seeing Shaq and Charles Barkley interact. We saw them as players; they were great as players. But them two just interacting and wanting to fight each other on set. Not that they were gonna fight, but the argument on the set is great because it's like this is a side of the guys we ain't seen. Like Shaq's all talking about, I got 4 rings. Tell me, I don't give a damn if you got 4 rings. And then Kenny says he's big.
You've got to be entertaining, innit? And people's personalities, like you said, Teo and Matthew, all of them guys, they are entertaining. So
they're entertaining.
They will start loving the club through the players, you know, and it's up to us. So what you're doing is, you know, from the beginning you started, I reached out, I was like, this is so big because
Thanks, man.
also we have to work together. So someone like yourself or Hooper's Voice, I know you probably wouldn't approach Basketball England, right? Because of stories before where people approach them, they've said no and rare. But that will actually help. If you linked up with Basketball England, that will actually help our leagues over here. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I'll definitely reach out. I'm a person, I'll try things. You know what I mean? The worst you can get is no, as long as you have another plan. But I know exactly, like what you're saying is exactly right. What I'm trying to do is more just, I want people to know players, man, because it's like that's one of the things I realized. Like, why don't no one know about basketball and don't know about the players? I thought it made more sense to know about the players. This was going to originally be just all sorts of people on this show, but it made more sense because I love basketball, and I thought, why not? Why not just get people to start? Let me start introducing the players. They have to know the players. Know some of the legends as well.
Yeah. And you know another thing that I'll...
Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris.